what SEO tools and plugins do I use? We have covered so far that I use this SEO Meta One-Click. Obviously, there's not a description for this page. It's an admin page in my WordPress, so I'm not concerned about that. And that's something to take away too, is for any of the data that you're seeing here, if there is a, for example, the description's missing, I'm not heartbroken over this. I don't want this page to rank. I don't care. So keep that in mind, that not every page on your site needs to rank, just the ones that strategically bring people into your different funnels or provide them with pathways into your ecosystem. That's the whole point of ranking for search engines, is get them into your ecosystem when they're already searching and seeking out what you have to offer. So SEO Meta and One-Click, SEO Quake, and Keyword Surfer. Yeah, Keyword Surfer are the two that help with the search results screen information. And then let's see, what have I not talked about? Oh, one I didn't bring up. So when you're trying to determine keyword research, so you have your list of keyword ideas. A good first stop is to come into the Google Ads Keyword Planner. You will have, this is a free tool that I use, and this is one of the ways you can do SEO for free. Now, something to keep in mind when using this tool is, one, Google doesn't really want you to rank for free because they make a lot of their revenue off of ads, of course, but they still want to serve the highest quality content to the people that are searching for it. That is their ultimate goal. So when you see things in tools like this, and a lot of the SEO articles that cover how to do keyword research, and trust me, that's a big rabbit hole that I could go down, but it's outside the scope of this Q&A, is that they are very geared around toward bringing dollars in. So most keyword research is talking about how to rank, how to approach ranking if you are maybe potentially eventually going to run paid ads for it. A lady that I work with in my day job is, she runs paid. So she looks at keywords very differently than I do. She looks at this and is like, okay, well, if I were to pay for this, it's like, how much am I potentially going to wind up paying? So it'll either be as low as 6, or likely we'll go with a higher estimate because we want to make sure we're budgeting properly. So $20 per lead. And there's 10 to 100 people that are searching for it. Is this a really high intent keyword? Yeah, probably. Because if somebody's looking for SEO for coaches, they're looking, though I think this is more of an informational, you're usually looking for information when they search for this. So depending. Now, one that is like SEO coaching, that's somebody that's looking to get help. That one has more of a buying intent, and it also has a higher average monthly search range, and it's low competition. Low means if you're running an ad, how low, how likely is it that you're going to have to be paying a lot more to run that ad, or is the competition for ad space on this keyword relatively low? That's what competition means here. I use, again, the free version of this tool, which I hopefully have not exhausted my daily. You can do so many daily searches here, but if I do SEO for coaches, this is again by the same people that do the SEO Quake, which I think has a slightly different data set in it. And I'll tell you why. Using a paid tool like this, and full disclosure, this is, I think now 130, no, might be closer to 140 a month, which is another reason sometimes it's better to work with somebody that is fully SEO dedicated, because they've usually already paid for these tools and have access to them. But if you're just trying to, that's the investment you're doing, take some of that ad budget. If you're running ads, allocate it to a tool like this, and you can start to kind of wean off that ad budget, hopefully. But this tells me, okay, information. They have they're looking for an answer. And again, this is free. You get so many searches on this, so you can take kind of your top keywords once you've maybe vetted them through here. Because if somebody's paying to rank for this keyword, that means that they're making money off of it. So just because something says, low competition, but you don't necessarily see something here, maybe Coach SEO, not a lot of people are buying from, or people aren't making money off of it, because theoretically, if people are investing money in it, they're probably making money back. Otherwise, they're just kind of throwing it down the drain. But this tells me, like, when is this trending? So if I were writing, I don't know if this is on an upward trend, it could be, or if it's just something that really spikes at a certain time of year, then that's when I'll want to kind of plan to do that. And this is telling me that the keyword difficulty is around 20%, which is very different than the 50, what was it? What's it here? The 50% that I was getting from the SEO Quake, which is why I think the data sets are a little bit different. SEO Quake, again, free plugin, I think, to drive traffic into SEMRush, which, I mean, that's a marketing strategy. We all have free lead magnets that we used to do. I'm doing this, sharing this session for free. But then we also have these other things. So I can tell that, there's site links, which are your typical results. And then you've got different features. So there's videos on this, but it doesn't show up until like much lower on the page. People also ask. So this tells me what other widgets I could potentially rank for. So that I'm like, this is a good keyword. I would want to do this. If you have a paid plan, you can build out a keyword list on this, but you can also export this information as well to do that. And the other thing you can do is switch to the questions. I'm not going to do it on this because it's such a narrow search, but if I was doing something broad like SEO and I switched over to questions, that would also give me a good list of questions to use for creating a very robust article on SEO. So with the content, you want to ask the question. So that's how you can kind of do SEO yourself for free. This also does have a free position tracking where I think we already talked about this, but just in case, you can track your position for up to 10 keywords, which is why if you're starting out, I would pick your top 10 that you kind of want to go and rank for. You can use some of the data to inform and prioritize that list. And then set up something like this. The last tool that, actually the last two tools that I use, I'll show you. The plugin that I use for SEO with WordPress is called Rank Math, and I do pay for the pro version because it lets me kind of, have some better analytics. I'm very analytics driven, so for me that's worth it. It's also pretty affordable. I think it's like, was it 49 or 50 a year, so 49 or 59 a year, something like that. But it also is a plugin that gives me, again, control. We can unpack that one later, my level of control. But we do have the ability to, I don't have a podcast plugin or anything like that on my site currently, so I don't need to have that turned on. Well, that's not adding to the code of the plugin. The other two plugins that I see a lot are Yoast, which for a long time has kind of been the gold standard, but to be honest, I haven't seen a lot from them by way of innovation, at least not for the same value that like this is. Their interfaces are also a little clunkier. So for me, again, user experience does matter a lot. But they do some of the same things. So I'm not telling you that if you use Yoast, you're doing it wrong. Like Yoast is still a good plugin. You'll still kind of get what you need out of it. All-in-one SEO is another one. But what this does is, this has some AI built into it. Again, that is additional cost. So you can use it to help you kind of shortcut your content creation. Now, SEO and AI, you do not want it to actually, I'm gonna put a pin in that one because I do have an AI specific question I will be getting to, and we'll get to that there. All right, let's see. But you can see, like, this is one of the easiest ways to generate a sitemap, because you have a lot of different settings that let you control what you include in it, because you don't need to include everything in your sitemap. And having a good site structure helps you set up a really optimized sitemap, so Google's looking at the right thing, because the more you help them manage their crawling resources, the more they reward you with rank too. But again, content's always going to matter more than any of that. So focus on that 80% of the thing that's or the 20% that's going to get you 80% of your results. And that's going to be writing the high quality content that addresses the needs of your audience. So the way this looks when you are in, sorry, I misspelled my mouse, in practicum. So we've found the keyword research. I have the one that I'm doing. I've got my SEO for coaches. Cool. I've got that. I'm not going to go into it with this one because I haven't actually built out this page or done anything other than like just set it up. So we will go into my membership information page that's here. All right. And so under the SEO, and this will show up if you're using like a block editor or things like that. It'll just be over on this side in the interface. It works for both. With this is the Rank Math plugin. And one of the ways it makes SEO easy is I can see this is kind of a preview of what Google might be showing up, or what might show up in Google ranking. Remember, Google can rewrite your title and meta description if it so chooses by pulling in what's top there. So basically the only time they'll do that is if you don't make this relevant to the content on the page. And so you can see that, I'm working on trying to get this ranked for Marketing Made Easy for this one. And so I have it here in my title. I have it as part of the URL, and I have it in the meta description as well. So it's in all of those places. That's where I want it. You can also do the same thing that'll set up kind of the social. And I do recommend that you do this, because if somebody pastes a link, it's going to look good on social. And plugins like this let you do that. And so it just pulls in from the other. And then it gives you this really nice little checklist here as well. That you can see. It's like, okay, yeah, it's in your title, it's in the meta description, it's in the URL, things I already talked about, appears in the first 10% of your content. This is kind of the fallback for if you're not actually putting in a meta description. It'll look to the first part, the very first bit of the content. And then making sure that you're using the keyword in the content and that your content is long enough. Depending on the keywords, that may matter more than others. That's where the Surfer plugin that I used, I have to turn off SEO Quake to make it actually show up. Let me refresh these results real quick. Just because interfaces being interfaces. So that's where you can see like number of keywords is, if this page were my SEO page that I was doing, I'm running about 4,000 keywords on it, or not keywords, sorry, 4,000 words on it. Well, that does kind of track and keep in line with what others are doing for it. So that actually helps a lot. So that helps you kind of gauge. That's how you can use these tools in tandem with one another. And you'll see that you don't have to hit my goal is to get it to at least green for the things that I care about. And you'll see that, keyword is in subheadings. which are some of those header tags I talked about earlier, alt images. I will get on that soapbox in a hot minute. And here, you can see keyword density is here, and you can see it's just kind of a little caution arrow. Again, keyword density doesn't matter so much as thoroughly addressing a topic for something that you're trying to rank for. And then outbound links, I could probably fix that. But for this, since it is actually a sales page, I don't need to have an outbound link. But if you're writing a blog article or something, especially if you're citing, statistics or things to kind of help make your point, you definitely want to link back out and let it be a follow link. You didn't no follow has specific rules. Again, very niche tangential topic. But you can use this to kind of guide your content creation. You'll notice my SEO title doesn't contain a number. It doesn't need to. That's not the goal of this page. So you really have to consider what's the page's goal with what you're doing, and do you want this page to rank or not? But this gives you content and then some readability and things like that. So that's what Rank Math does. You can also use again, they have a content AI thing that'll help you. There is, I don't think it's in this interface. I'm looking to see. Oh, no. Not in this interface, but in the block editor. Let me exit and go to the block editor. One of the cool things that it has is that it will also show you if you've got more of the content than I do on my site, it would say link suggestions. So interlinking your content is the #1 thing that people overlook.